Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and in this video I want to talk to you about floor pan replacement. Now, I did do a video a couple years ago in regards to floor pan change. I also have a video on patching the battery area for your do-yourselfers at home. But what I want to talk to you about now is particularly 55 and earlier Beetles. The floor pans are actually different from 56 and later. When it comes to actually the seat rails and even this back section here where the battery sits, the shape of the pan is actually a lot different than the later pans. So you just got to keep an eye out for certain things like this. And on the mainstream market today, whether it's say Wolfsburg West or J-Bugs or J.C. Whitney or something like that, they're going to have a one style type of a pan, and it's not going to be year specific. So what I want to tell you about is there's a guy online named Gerson, ClassicFab.com, and he is selling and stamping the correct style pans. He's also doing the correct style heater channels. And what I'm going to show you is the differences in why you need to go with these pans as opposed to doing the one style fit pans that other shops sell. Now, this is, again, 54 Beetle here we have. It's a body off restoration. If you're going to replace floor pans, I do recommend taking the body off the chassis to do it correctly. This is a Build-A-Bug project that we're working on, and the owner wants a high-end concourse model Beetle, and as you can see here, it's all coated with rust-preventative paint, and it looks really nice. So, but I'm going to get behind the camera right now. I want to show you the differences between the floor pans and why you should go with something like this. Even the gauge metal is actually correct. A lot of stuff today, the floor pans today that are on the market, the gauge of metal is not the same as the original. It's actually a little flimsier. But Wolfsburg West actually sells really good floor pans, so they're very close to the, if not exact, to the original German style gauge metal. But I'm going to get behind the camera now. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean and why you need to go with these earlier pans if you have a 55 and earlier Beetle. Okay, so one thing right off the bat is what I want to point out to you is the seat rails. So you got these are lower rails for 55 and earlier. Okay, when you get the new aftermarket pans, you're going to see they're going to be on like an angle. And that's because those seat frames worked with those types of rails. So if you put later seat frames, say 56 and later seat frames on these types of rails, they're not going to sit right. It's going to be a little cocked in the wrong direction. But when you get these new pans, they do not give you the rails. So you got to look out for that, and you're going to probably have to save the old rails off of the old pan, which is what we did here, and re-weld them on to the new pan, along with the jack stand here, the jack post rather. These do not come on the new pans when you buy them from ClassicFab.com. But here's the big change. I put the battery here just to show you. The earlier style pans, as you can see here, they have this section here of the pan that's not as deep as the earlier pans. The earlier pans will actually, the battery will sit back here more. But the problem with that is, like, if you do go with these, say, aftermarket pans for your earlier Beetle, here's the problem: your seat frame, your bottom rest to the back part of the seat. I'm going to show you right over here. Here's the bottom. Okay, look at these seat springs. They give you a dedicated area here for the battery, as you can see. Okay, the later style seats, from say 56 and later, all these springs are up into the top portion of the seat, and the seat is actually, the springs are right up against your butt, really. But these earlier seat frames, as you can see, all the springs are down here. Now, if you went with the aftermarket floor pans, say from any of the shops around, that battery would be sitting back here now. So now your springs would be touching the top of the battery, and you don't want that. You're going to start sparking stuff up and possibly cause a fire. So this is how the bottom rest sits. So that battery has to go under and this square section here. Now, the only way that's going to work is when you get the correct pans that have this section here. So just want to put a word of caution out there for you. If you're definitely doing 55 and earlier restoration, you want to go with pans like this. Now here's a 58 Beetle. I'll show you the floor pan I'm talking about. Let's see if I can get in here. Okay. See what I mean? It's not, this is much deeper. Same over there, that's where the battery would sit. But as you can see, it's much deeper. Those earlier pans have a piece, like kind of like a little island that sits out here. And that's where the battery would sit up close, so up further to the front of the car. So you buy aftermarket pans, they're going to have this big dish. And you just, you know, for the earlier cars, you just got to be in caution with something like that. So this is why, you know, I recommend going with Gerson with Classic Fab, or if there's a way you can fabricate or re-weld and save the old pan, you know, that would be much better. But just keep in mind, see, here's the difference here. Has a bigger island, you know. So keep in mind, Classic Fab's pans, these pans are not as cheap as the other aftermarkets. You're probably looking at about $600, but at least the gauge metal, the thickness is there. Okay, so just remember, again, one more time, when you get the new pans in, you're going to have to save the rails. You also got to save this back piece. The pans do not come with this back piece, so save those. And you're going to have to save the jack post area here. Classic Fab does not give you those when they're shipped in. So that's it. That's that tip. So if you guys have any questions, you can email me, chris@classicvwbugs.com, or my website, www.classicvwbugs.com. Take care.